Hey there, legends. Welcome to They Not Like Us, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories of people who do things a little different. Think of it as the place where the rule breakers, the mold shakers, and the I can't believe they actually did that crowd come to share their secrets. I'm your host, Aaron, and I promise you this. By the end of this episode, you'll either feel inspired or wonder why you're still doing what everyone else is doing. But before we jump in, yes, I know you're already hooked. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't be that person who misses out and then has to ask your mates what happened. Seriously, we've got some epic guests lined up, from entrepreneurs and fitness gurus to experts in everything from saving your sanity to finding your life's purpose. Basically, the stuff they should be teaching in school, but don't. So go ahead, click subscribe, and let's get this party started. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about an awesome way to give your old or unused rugby jerseys a new lease on life. If you've got a jersey tucked away in a drawer, why not turn it into something you can actually use and show off? Introducing Rugby Buckets, a company that creates handcrafted bucket hats from your old jerseys. Every part of the jersey is used to create these beautiful custom pieces, so nothing goes to waste. Here's what Nick had to say about his rugby bucket. Perfect craftsmanship. I turned two old shirts I'd never wear again into something I can proudly rock. I'm in Mallorca right now with my bucket hat, and I couldn't recommend rugby buckets enough. Whether you're at a match or just out in the sun, rugby buckets are the perfect way to combine fashion with your love for the game. Proudly made in Wales, and best of all, free UK shipping. Check them out at rugbybuckets.com and get started on your own custom bucket hat today. Now let's get into the show.
Hello, welcome back to They Not Like Us. I'm your host, Aaron. With me today, I'm joined by Izaiah Dillion. Is that how I pronounce it?
Izaiah Dillion. Yeah, spelled a little
Dylan.
weird. Yeah, Izaiah Dillion.
Yeah, I thought it was Dylan, but I didn't want to be presumptuous, so I went with it. But welcome to the show, Izaiah.
Appreciate it.
Can you tell people a little bit about yourself?
I'm an online fitness coach. I teach mindset training and nutrition, but it goes a lot deeper than that. What I'm really teaching people is how to have the highest level of confidence and appreciation for life. And you're able to really have both of those once you truly admire who you see in the mirror and the way that you talk to yourself every day.
What do you think are the biggest barriers to people getting their mindset kind of on point?
They just talk down to themselves and they think that they can't do it. That'd be one of the biggest things. They'll get high motivation. Motivation is like a big spark of flame and it just goes up and then dies down, goes up, dies down. And discipline is just kind of like a consistent flame that just stays the same, and you obviously get the results once you stick with discipline.
Yeah, I think everybody has that negative self-talk, right? Me included. I imagine you still get it as well. It's just how you manage that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all get it. Everybody gets it. Some people think like, oh, this guy, he's just so disciplined. We all have negative self-talk. It's just what we choose to do with it, whether we choose to put action behind it or not.
What's the biggest mental barrier you've overcome, and how did that shape the way that you approach life?
Biggest mental, just realizing it was the fact that I just realized that I'm always going to have negative self-talk. I'm always going to not want to do certain things. I'm always going to have different emotions and feelings. And once I really realize it, like people hear it, but they don't really realize it, that it's going to be around forever and that your action doesn't have to be based off how you feel. That was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, man, we're driven so much by emotion, right? And then if we let emotion rule us, we'll never get anywhere. I'll be sat on the sofa just eating crap all the time and not getting up, not doing anything, being miserable. But you pay a price for that, don't you? That it's easy in the short term, but you pay a price in the long term, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like even this morning, I woke up, so down out of it, just not motivated, didn't want to be disciplined at all. Like, I don't know what it was. I can't explain it. I just was not in the mood to do anything. But I just take control over my mind. I realize that this is a part of life. It's one of those days, but it's one of the days where you can get the most out of it, where you still get up, do what you got to do, read, work out, eat healthy. You get the most benefits because you did it even though you didn't want to.
Yeah, I think those days it's a big win, right? You have because you have days like that, and then if you actually push through and you get to the gym or you get something done that you really didn't feel like doing, then you get such a sense of accomplishment after, and a little bit of pride, and just feel good about yourself again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone's been there too. It's just about sticking to it, just sticking to it. And the biggest way that I get people to stick to their goals is them having a why. Like people hear about, oh, what's your why for doing it? But that is absolutely the biggest thing that keeps me going. Like for me, my why is to be able to protect and provide for my sister and future family. And I have her on my lock screen, me and my sister. So every morning when I get up and I don't feel like doing things, all I have to do is look at the picture of me and my little sister and remember why I'm doing what I want to do so I can protect and provide. And then I stopped that debate in my mind about whether or not I should do the things I know I'm supposed to do. That was like one of the other biggest struggles I had is I would debate myself. If you debate yourself for 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna talk yourself into comfort every time. Every time. So I just the what we all need to do is get better at quitting that debate in our mind. And for me, it's having a picture of me and my little sister. Debate is over. Get up, go to the gym.
Yeah, we always want to take the easy path, right? I mean, it's ingrained in this. It's natural for us. We take the easy path until we don't have to. But you know, if we choose that more difficult path, then things just get better, and not just fitness and everything else, but just life in general. If we take that difficult route, face up to them things we know we have to face up to, then life just gets better, right?
Yeah, I heard a quote today on Instagram. A guy he said, "We're hardwired to survive, not thrive." And it's like that's why it's so admirable when people thrive through life because we're hardwired to just survive, get through the day the easiest way, save energy, and just be as comfortable as possible. But the people that really go far have changed their mindset and have been very intentional on getting where they are in life. That's why it's so admirable.
How do you stay mentally strong during moments of like self-doubt and failure? So say you've got up, you've kind of got that discipline to kind of face the day, but what if then, because sometimes this happens with life, right? You get obstacles thrown your way. Say it's fitness and training. Say you pick up an injury or something like that. How do you deal with them kind of self-doubt and that kind of difficulty that life can throw at you?
All right, I'm not here to tell a whole sob story because everybody's been through life, everybody's experienced stuff, but it's been a pretty rough couple months for me. I've moved, I got a new job, not really around friends, I lost my girlfriend. All these things have happened in these past few months for me personally. And it's like I got a back injury, a shoulder injury, all these things. I could complain, make sob story, but the biggest thing is my why. I'm telling you, when I look at the picture of me and my little sister, I just stop all the debate. I stop all like the negative self-talk and I just realize that I have a plan laid out for myself. And if I just stick to this plan as best I can day in and day out, I'm going to be where I want to be. And for me, like I tell people all the time, you have to sit down and really figure out your why. Like if you got to get a journal and just think, it could take 15 minutes, it could take 15 days. But once you have that, you're going to have all the discipline and motivation you need to stick to the plan. Because it's like, I look at my little sister and there's no way that I can just sleep in or just stay in bed or just not do what I want to do. Like having your why is going to be all the motivation and discipline someone needs.
Yes. How did you get to that point where you kind of figured out your why? Did you? Because have you read Simon Sinek's book
I have
by any
not. No.
chance as well? Have you not? Because that's all about kind of finding your why and stuff like that, and getting that purpose. And I think it is important because even with career, right? If you've got a job and you don't feel like valuable, you don't feel like you got a purpose or a reason, right? You hate
Yeah.
it, and you're just there, and you just go through the motions, and probably not giving it your all or whatever. And then in the jobs that you really feel passionate about, something like you really care about, like you put everything in and it's easy, right? It's not even like a chore. It's not no
Yeah.
effort involved.
Yeah.
So what kind of got you to that point where you figured, right, I need to find a why, I need a purpose?
I think it's a lot of how I grew up. Like I grew up without I didn't have my dad in my life. I didn't have any men consistently in my life at all. And the first person that I seen get up and go to work every single day was myself when I turned 16. And a good mentor of mine, he put it that I can't quote him exactly the way he said it, but pretty much the things that anything that you didn't have in life or that you wanted, like you got to create that in yourself. Like for me, I didn't have any good men in my life. So when the way my mentor put it to me, I have to be a good man myself. It would be the dumbest thing ever for me to not have good men in my life and then I just stay a bad man myself and I just keep passing it down. I just learned I have to be a good man. And for me, a good man is someone that just keeps his word to himself, does the things that he says he's going to do. And the most basic foundation of a man is someone that's able to protect and provide. And that's just exactly what I go after every day.
Yeah, I like that, man. So like when I was younger, my dad wasn't around a lot, and that's not in a bad way. He worked a lot, but he worked away, so he was only home like rarely on weekends and bits and pieces. So I didn't see much of him in my teenage years. So that can be quite difficult. And for me, it was very similar, where I went to the opposite. I want to be there for my kids. So that's why I kind of left the military when my daughter came along, because I wanted to be there and not be, away all the time, not be never be seen. I wanted to be present in her life. And I think them impacts, like your life, you can go one of two ways with it, right? You can either think, right, I don't want that for my kids or for my family or for my life. I want to do the right thing. Or people can copy. And sounds to me like you've taken the bull by the horns and gone, right, I don't want that for my family, for my kids, for the people in my life. And you've kind of stepped up and really taken on that mantle. So it's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just becomes very apparent, like especially the struggles that people go through. A lot of people's struggles and like childhood traumas and all that, it really is like a path that they could take, because they've obviously, if they've overcome it, they're able to teach it to other people, and that becomes extremely fulfilling. Like I did not have a father or a man in my life, so for me to work every day to create that man is very fulfilling. It brings a lot of energy out of me, and I'm able to teach other young boys, other men how to be men. Like this just it's a very fulfilling process. It's natural to life. You overcome things, you learn it, and then you teach it to other people.
Yeah. What's one belief you held earlier on in your life then? So when as you were growing up, maybe that you no longer stand by, and what changed your mind?
Belief that I don't stand by. Nothing comes to mind, honestly, when I think about that. I don't think I had any real hard beliefs. I've always been like pretty open minded and willing to change my mind and listen to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for me, for instance, when I was growing up, I thought, people, like, I thought my dad should have been there more, all this, that, and the other. But as you grow up, you realize that actually, like, I've changed my belief on that. I think, what he did was he sacrificed for the family to give us a really good life. And I was very, very fortunate, very lucky that he gave us a good childhood and a good life. And that was because the effort and the work that he put in. And that's something I changed. So I don't know if that anything you can relate to.
Yeah, like good realization, looking back, hindsight. Yeah, I definitely understand that. But no, I didn't have my dad in my life at all. And I never like grew up like, ah, damn, I wish I had a dad, or like looking at my friends like, man, they got a dad. How come I don't? I never did that. Maybe I was just naturally blessed to not have any like resentment or any anger towards that. But I just, yeah, I never had any resentment towards that. It is what it is. He lived his life. I've lived my life with the way I am. And I always have a more positive outlook on life. I know that the future is going to look bright once I just do the things I'm supposed to do.
Do you have any kind of daily habits or rituals that that you help to keep your mindset focused and keep yourself on track?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every single day, as soon as I get up, I think the best thing to do is you get up and you got to read something from self-development or a coach or someone that's been down the path that you want to go on. You start your morning off reading, and then you got to get into a workout. You have to work out because it just brings up the energy. It brings you up to that high frequency, that high vibe. No one's ever gone to the gym, got in a good workout, and been like, damn, this was a waste of time. No one's ever done that unless you went in there and you wasted your time, didn't do any hard work. And then you've got to get your diet on point. Eat something healthy. Eat something that you know is in alignment with your goal. I mean, that just hits all the pillars of just creating a person that you really admire and respect. It makes you feel massively good inside. It clears up your mind. It makes your body feel good. So self-reflecting, reading, working out, those things I do every single day, and it just massively has made me a better person.
Yeah. How could they? So some people struggle with that kind of side of things. They struggle with that discipline to get to the gym and stuff. What advice would you give to them, to the people that struggle to get that mindset shift?
I always go back to the why. So there was a guy I was talking to yesterday, actually. He's overweight. Me and him were playing basketball together. We're having a good conversation. And he's overweight. He's about to have a kid. I'm like, man, I speak very direct to people. Some people think I'm kind of disrespectful. I just speak very direct. I don't disrespect anybody, but I speak very direct. And he's like, I'm going to have a kid. And he's probably 50, 60 pounds overweight. I'm like, bro, like you need to get in shape. Like you need to be on point. Like if you were to drop this weight, it would completely change your life. It would completely change your life. You would respect yourself when you look in the mirror. Your wife, your girlfriend would be so much more attracted to you and respect you. And then your kid, the way that you would raise him and the energy that you would bring to your son would be massively different. And when I get people to realize that dropping this weight isn't just about dropping weight, that it's about changing everything in your life, the way you feel about yourself and the way people perceive you, that's a pretty massive why. Like, okay, yeah, I need to drop this weight for sure. And you just got to figure out why it's important to you. Like having a body that you admire changes your life in every aspect. Everybody tries to be good at like their job or be good in their relationship or be a good boyfriend or a good whatever. Like be the best you. Like, you're the one in all those scenarios. If you create the best version of you, someone that you respect, you admire, that has good energy, has a positive outlook on life, you're going to be the best worker. You're going to be the best boyfriend. You're going to be the best coworker. So everybody's like trying to attack like 10 different things when they should just focus the first 2 or 3 hours or whatever of their day on themselves and then give themselves to everything else.
Yeah, it's a big one having kids as well, right? Because it's like you want to be fit as they grow older, so you can, share more of your life with them and enjoy that time with them.
Yeah.
And also from having kids myself, you kind of realize as well that kids don't do what you say. They do. They kind of copy and mimic. So if I'm sat in there and just stuffing my face all the time, and I never go to the gym and I never do anything that's difficult, then they're going to kind of copy them behaviors, and that's how they're going to become.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was reading this book. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. I don't know if you read it. Real good book. And one of the chapters, I posted it today, says, don't use your family as an excuse. And so many people do that. Like, oh, yeah, when you have a family, man, you'll see you get older, you're just going to gain weight. And I'm like, no, you're just using your whole family as an excuse. Like, you got to use your family as a reason of why you're going to be the best version of yourself, not as an excuse to why you fell off and have become this sloppy version of a man.
Yeah, having a family makes it more difficult, as in you have less time, but it just means you have to be more productive with the time that you have. So it's not that you don't have any time, it's that when you get time, at that point you feel tired, but then that's when it's more important. You got to be like, right, I need to get after it now.
100%, man.
So how do you deal with, like, because with work and family and everything else, right? And we all have these stresses from life anyway that come onto us. So how do you deal with like stress or burnout, especially in like high pressure situations?
Well, I don't think burnout. I don't feel burnout because I think people burn out from the gym or burn out from a diet. It's because of the way that they talk to themselves. They're constantly talking negative, and eventually you're gonna burn out of a negative situation. Nobody burns out of too much positivity. Like, everyone likes positivity. But if I'm in the gym and I'm pushing weight and I'm bench pressing, I'm like, oh my god, I hate this. I hate this. This is uncomfortable. I don't like it. Eventually, I'm gonna burn out and I'm not gonna want to do it. If I'm on a diet and I'm cutting weight, and for the next 12 weeks, I talk to myself like, damn, I'm hungry. Oh my God, I'm hungry. Like, I just want to eat. I'm so tired. You're going to burn out. Of course, you've told yourself 5 times today. You're going to tell yourself 6 times tomorrow. Over 12 weeks, you've told yourself 1,000 times that you're so hungry, you're so tired, and I don't want to do this positive thing. But if I told you, like, bro, you should be thanking the Lord that you're hungry, because hunger is the feeling of fat being burned, then every time you get hungry, you're like, thank God, I've had this weight and this burden on my shoulders for 5 years. I've been uncomfortable in my body for all these years, all these months, and I'm finally hungry. I finally know that I'm losing weight. Finally. Thank God. You tell yourself that 1,000 times over 12 weeks, there's no burning out. You know what I mean? So it's just the way that people talk to themselves.
Yeah, man, I like that, because I'm on a cut right now. I'm on a diet, so 8 weeks. I'm going to be dropping 5K in them 8 weeks, and then we'll see. I mean, I'll do it, but
Yeah,
I definitely do that. I definitely do that.
Too. But the thing about cutting weight too, it just like, it makes you feel more healthy because you know your diet is on point. And then it's like, when you get hungry, you're living in the moment. It's pretty difficult to not live in the moment when you're hungry, because you're not really thinking about too many other things. You're like, I'm hungry. And like, for me, I get like hungry and focused. I'm like, all right, I'm not even like ready to joke around right now. Like, I'm going to get this work done, and then I'm going to go eat after it. So for me, it makes me just focus even more.
Yeah, I get why it's difficult for people, and it's supposed to be difficult. It's naturally difficult, right? Because genetically, our bodies want to keep on to stuff, because, how we've developed and evolved over the years, we used to go periods where we starve for a long time. So it's important that we eat as much as we could when we could, store the fat, and then we can survive for a longer time. That's kind of how we've evolved. But, now in the society and how we live, because we're fortunate to have enough food, to eat all the time whenever we want, we've got to kind of regulate that ourselves. We've got to be aware of it, and we've got to be focused, and we've got to, focus on that end goal, that why, really, the why am I doing this? What am I going to try to achieve? And, kind of double down on it and push back against evolution, really.
Yeah, 1,000%. People just talk so negative about positive things. Going to the gym, why would you talk negative? Don't, just stop doing that. Talking negative about the diet, like, oh, and then what people do is they talk negative, like, oh, I'm so hungry. And then all their friends that are like on the same low level as them, that like, say a bunch of fat friends are just all hanging around. One of them starts to lose weight like that. All their friends are going to tell them like, bro, you don't got to do that. Like, just you have your own self talking yourself out of it. You have all your friends talking yourself out of it. you're gonna get burnt out. Nah, yeah, you got burnt out real quick because of all the negative influences you had, which was including yourself. But if you talk positive about it, all your friends are gonna be like, oh, it looks like it's working. It seems good. Now you just change yourself, and then you have a positive impact on your friends. They're gonna start changing eventually.
Yeah, man, you definitely get that. I get people around me trying to knock me off the horse, trying to get me to get takeouts or chocolate or some crap, man. And I'm like, nah. But it's like, you're not helping me, man.
Yeah.
We'll switch on to actual training now. So what's your routine look like? What kind of training do you do?
I do push pull legs, push pull legs, push pull legs. So I'm training 6 times a week, and for me, my training has completely changed in terms of why I train. Like the reason I used to train before, it starts off juvenile for everyone, which is good. Is what gets people started and keeps people going. Like I just want to look good. That's the whole reason I'm going to the gym. I just want to look good. Like I want to get different girls. I want to I feel good about myself, muscles, all this, and that's why I used to train. But now I literally train. I go in there and just I want to walk out with mental clarity. That is the whole purpose of me training. I go in there, I train hard, and I just want to get mental clarity. And you push yourself hard enough, I mean, all problems go away. When you're under the squat bar or you're pushing heavy weight on a bench press, there's no problems going on in the world. You're not worried about a breakup. You're not worried about taxes. You're not worried anything going on. You're just focused on lifting that weight up. And one of my mentors, Wes Watson, he says, inner peace is not knowing time as it passes by. So to me, being in the gym is inner peace. I don't notice anything going on in the world when I'm working out. I just fully am focused on me and lifting the weight. This is very simple. Nothing else going on. So that's what I do. I do push-pull legs, and I just go in there and I push very difficult.
Yeah, man, I like that because my brain, right, it doesn't stop, right? It's just
Mhm.
constantly going, constantly going. I hit the gym and, that bit of physical effort. And like I say, especially when you're like maxing out or whatever, then
Yeah.
there is nothing else at that time. There's
Uh-huh.
nothing. Just brings you that peace, doesn't it? Peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, push-pull legs, hitting the same muscle groups twice a week, and just pushing hard every time I'm in the gym.
What's the most common mistake that you see when people, start their new training routines?
They just don't do it consistently, and they piece together a bunch of stuff from Instagram. They'll see like 3 different influencers, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna try this and try this and try this, and make up like this own crazy program. Working out is very simple. Like just do workouts that you understand that you can do, and just do them consistently, and then go from there. But people trying to piece together all these crazy things and do all these hacks and all this stuff, like I mean, you don't even need any equipment. I built the foundation of my body from doing push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. Like if somebody did push-ups, sit-ups, and squats every day consistently and push themselves to a difficult level, then start adding weight and then go from there. I mean, you would build a very good body on top of having your diet on point. But people just overcomplicate it. It's not complicated until you get to bodybuilding levels, which takes years and years of time. Like working out is very simple.
Yeah, it's about being consistent, right? And people don't follow a program, so then they have no consistency and they're all over the place and they don't track what weights they move in for what reps or whatever. So then there's no progress. They end up just lifting the same weight all the time. And I can guess that causes a big problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do with my clients because I have 2 apps. I have my training app and I make their program for them. I have videos, I have the reps that they're going to do, the sets, and then you just add in the weight. So you go in and you do 3 sets of 8 bench press or whatever, 3 sets of 8 squats, whatever I have laid out for you. And then you push as hard as you can. You get to 8, you fail at 7, whatever. And then your weight starts going up. You start seeing, oh, I was doing 70 pounds here. Now I'm doing 75. In 2 weeks, I'm doing 80. And it makes it so simple when you can see it visually in your phone. You know how much I lay everything out for them. Like there's literally a timer too for how much rest they're going to take. You do this workout, a minute rest, click the timer goes off. Everything is laid out. It is so simple with the app that I have for my clients that there's no way they can fail. And then I get on a Zoom call with them once a week to make sure everything is on point. They're dropping the weight, they're putting on muscle, they're looking good, they're feeling good. There's no confusion with the foods that they're eating, the diet. I mean, I just lay everything out so simply for them that it's impossible to fail.
Yeah, and it helps that having that progress logged because then they can see and it gives them something to hold on to that, oh, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better. There's improvement happening.
Yeah, and once you get started, you get to a point where it's harder to stop than to keep on going. Like you've already, I mean, this is the thing I love about training is when you could be the skinniest guy ever or someone that's extremely overweight, or you could be someone that's really in shape. All 3 of those people, if they go into the gym and they push as hard as they can, they are all going to feel just as good about themselves. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the buffest guy, the skinniest guy, or the fattest guy. Like you're gonna walk out like, damn, I really pushed hard today. I really pushed hard. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna care about how you look. You're gonna care about how you feel, and that's what it's about. It's about feeling good. That's why like people think that it's gonna be like, oh, I gotta wait 6 months until I have this dream body. Like, no, bro, you're gonna feel good the minute you walk out the gym. You're gonna be like, damn, this is the literally the colors in the sky are gonna be brighter. Like you're gonna feel so much better about yourself. It is you're not gonna even be worried about the way your body looks because you feel good and you know that you're progressing.
Yeah, man, absolutely. How's your approach to training changed? So you said you started with like kind of body weight stuff and that as well. But how
Mm.
has your kind of approach to physical training, kind of evolved over the years and as you gain more experience?
So I started off in a few years ago. Yeah, I was just working out at my grandparents' house and body weight. That's all I really had. I wasn't making it all the way to the gym. I didn't have a car at the time. So body weight and just pushing myself hard. And now I go to the gym and I do push pull legs, which is push would be chest, shoulders, tries. Legs obviously is hamstrings, quads, calves, and then pull is back and biceps. So I just split my workouts into that, and I just challenge myself. Very difficult with the weight. I usually do higher reps personally, just because lower reps hard for me to focus on squeezing the muscle and all this stuff. But I always recommend starting off with higher reps. You're going to be able to focus on your form, and you're going to have a lot less likelihood of injuring yourself. If you go in there and you try to push your 3 reps for a squat or 3 reps for bench, like you could really hurt yourself. So
Yeah, if you're pushing big weight, then you need to be on point. Your technique needs to be spot on,
yeah, for
and
sure.
it's hard. I've injured myself at the gym doing heavy stuff in the past, because especially if you're doing multiple reps, because you get tired, you get fatigued, and then you kind of your concentration goes a little bit, and it doesn't take much if you've got a heavy deadlift or a squat to really do some damage.
Yeah, you try to use other muscles, you like kind of slanted over, you really hurt your back or something. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, being there, man, slipped 2 discs in my back. Yeah, not ideal when I was younger, trying to
What was that
kind of
squat? What
force.
were you doing?
Yeah, man.
What were you doing? What workout?
Deadlifting, but I was going heavy for reps, and I just
Uh
arched my back, lost my concentration, and game over.
huh. Yeah. Yeah, people get worried too about going to the gym. Like people starting off, like I mean, the likelihood of an injury, you starting as a brand new lifter, very low. Especially if you're doing high reps, it's not gonna happen. But if you go in there after a few months of working out and you try to pull some heavy weight off the ground, like obviously there's a higher chance of you not keeping the good form.
Yeah, it's important to leave that ego at the door, right? And I'm still working on that now, because I still go in sometimes when I shouldn't and pull heavy. But um, ultimately, leave the ego at the door. Concentrate on your technique, your form, and getting the muscles and everything working really. And you'll get so much good progress. And if it's just to look good anyway, you don't need to be shifting heavy weight. You need to just be having the effect on the muscle, have more control, and you can do more eccentrics and stuff, couldn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
What's one piece of training advice then that kind of sounds simple but is often overlooked?
Um, Training advice, it would be keep in good form. I mean, if you can go in there consistently and keep good form, there's no way to fail. I don't think there's any way to fail. Keep good form and be consistent. Your weight's going to go up. Focus on the muscle. I just go in there and keep good form. That's the number one advice. Keep good form.
We've talked a lot about the training side of it, and you're saying you push yourself hard and stuff like that. But how do you balance the training with your rest and recovery?
Oh, I mean, push pull legs is set up to where you just really have enough rest by the time you get to the next group. So Mondays, I'm doing legs. By the next time I'm doing legs again is going to be Thursday. So that's already plenty of time in between. It's like 72 hours in between the next time I'm doing legs. And the rest of recoveries, I'm good by that.
Do you do a similar program for your clients? Is it usually push pull legs for your clients as well?
Yeah. But it depends on how many days a week they want to work out, how much time they actually have. But because realistically, 4 days minimum, you got a good program on your hands. Like you got enough to really put on some muscle and look good, feel good.
Yeah, especially if you're new to resistance training, right? It like at the start you'll have such a good reaction to it because you've not had any before. Your body just laps that up, and then as soon as you've been doing it a while, it kind of the gain's slow. You have to work a bit harder, right?
Yeah, people think too. They think it's gonna be a long process or a long road, but most people don't really have or have not really had that good combination of diet and training. I mean, you get those two on point, you're going to drop weight very fast and you're going to put on lean muscle very quick. Like people have beginner gains just from going to the gym, not even having their diet on point. Like just their body is just like starving to put on muscle. So it's like, boom, they put on 5-10 pounds real quick. If they had their diet on point from the beginning, it's game over. It's game, like they're fully hooked. They're going to be a gym bro, a gym girl forever. Cause like, it just complements each other. It's how it works. It's like walking down the street with only one sock on. It's goofy. You got to have both socks. So you got to have the diet and the training on point.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. So I noticed that, but I struggle to get one or the other. So if I'm training, my diet's usually good. But I had an operation a little while back, so I didn't train for a month. And because I wasn't training, my diet was shit as well. So what can you do? It's a mental thing. The being out of the gym really affected me. So I kind of my diet went to crap.
Yeah, see, the mindset I go to immediately, like I've got a back injury right now. I'm not able to. It's difficult to walk around right now. Like leaning and turning certain ways, it hurts. But for me, I'm like, I'm gonna focus on my diet even more. Boom, fully on point with the diet, like 100%. I just take control. I immediately go to what do I have control over? I can't train the way I want to, so I've got to do something else. What else can I do? I keep my diet on point. That's gonna help me hold on to the muscle that I have right now. Help me having good energy and yeah. So I just immediately go to what can I take control of.
Yeah, my head went. I lost all my resilience in that one, and I gave in. I was eating crap, mate. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, it's so good. You use regret as your guideline, and then you just go back next time you know what to do. So
yeah, I'm back in the gym now, so I'm all good. We're good. But so obviously that there's a mental toughness to that, right? To that, being able to get your nutrition on point and realizing, I need to sort this out even more now because I'm not in the gym and stuff like that. What does that kind of resilience and mental toughness how does that play into your
connection?
training?
You kind of froze on me.
You got me?
I can hear you now. The last part I heard was mental toughness.
Yeah, so I'm just talking about mental toughness, and you've obviously shown you've got mental toughness to do that with that nutrition side of things. How does mental toughness play into like kind of training regimes, and how do people cultivate that kind of resilience and toughness?
Well, I only get the mental toughness by doing the tough things consistently. Like people, like even I had a common misconception that I just wanted to like have this tough mindset, but I didn't really know how to do it. Like, oh, well, some people are just like, they're just want to go to the gym and do all these things, but you build mental toughness by doing things that are tough. I mean, it sounds very simple, but people just don't apply this. Like when I go into the gym and I push like weight that I did not think I could push, that like made me mentally tough. Like, wow, like I really pushed through that. Or the days where I don't feel like going, that is making me mentally strong. Like I did not want to go. I didn't feel like going. There was nothing. If I missed today, if I didn't go to the gym today, it would not make a single difference. It wouldn't. And that's why people fall off so much too, is because if you skip the gym, it's not going to make a single difference. If you ate terrible food that day, it's really not going to make a difference. And then they don't see immediate consequences to their actions, and then they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again. And over time, you look back 6 months, you've completely fell off, and you're just looking back like, it's because you didn't have that immediate consequence. But yeah, the mental toughness, again, like I said, is built through the gym. Like if I stopped going to the gym today, my mental toughness would start to decrease. But every single time I go in there, I push hard. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Fuck it, let's go. I'm gonna try it. I get it up. Oh man, we just hit a new level. There's no going back now.
Yeah, it's about chalking up them wins, right, and just getting more wins in the W column, and then eventually it builds and builds and builds, right?
100%, man. Yeah.
Cool. What if somebody's really, struggling for time? They don't have much time off. They can only kind of dedicate 20 minutes a day for training. What would you recommend those people focus on?
Burpees. Burpees. I'm telling you, you drop down and do some burpees. Do as many burpees as you can in 5 or 10 minutes. Minimal rest. Oh my goodness. I mean, you're going to be winded. Like that's what I'm saying. For mental clarity, if you drop down and do as many burpees or do 10 sets of 20 burpees, like you are going to be winded. You're going to have no problems in the world. You're going to get that mental clarity. You're going to get a real good pump. You've got your diet on point already. You're going to look real nice. Or just do a bunch of squats, a bunch of body weight. Drop down and do some push-ups. Like people really do make excuses. Like I'll be at work and I'll have like a quick 10-minute break or whatever. The days I'm working 12-hour shifts, I'm working out at work. Like I maybe work in a cubicle in office, drop down and do some push-ups. Like if you really want to get the work in, you're going to get the work in. And all the work can be put in through body weight. Like it really can.
I lost you there for a second.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man, burpees are disgusting though, right? I'd rather stick needles in my eyes, I think. Take a lot out, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the burpees just because it is difficult. it is difficult. Like getting up and getting down is simple but difficult. But that's why I love it.
Yeah, they're the worst, man. They're the worst. I hate
It's
them.
like as a guy, I don't understand how men don't want to do the difficult stuff. Like what I absolutely hate, and I rarely do this, but it's just because of my training style. I hate doing sprints. Like getting my heart rate up that high. Oh man, it does not feel good. But I went and did it the other day, and I left the track like, oh man, I'm just on fire. Like I'm on fire for the rest of the day. Like everybody I'm seeing, I'm just like good energy. Hey, how you doing? Like you just feel amazing after it. So in the moment, it's bad, it's tough, but damn, you drop down and do some burpees, you're gonna feel good.
Defo. So I'm getting a bit older now, and I'm thinking about kind of longevity and stuff as well. So how would you help people train for kind of longevity and keeping people strong and capable as they can as they get older?
Yeah, so if you wanna stay in the gym, it would be lighter weight, higher reps, and then at home, like if you don't want to go to the gym, it'd be body weight. And then like body weight, you can add weight with like water bottles or stuff at home. Like I used to do curls with gallons of water. I would tape them together. But doing higher reps, you're gonna get that good pump. You're gonna feel good, and you're not gonna injure yourself with higher reps.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I go now, especially since I did my back and stuff.
Yeah,
I can't do the big singles anymore. I can, and I just shouldn't. So I try to
yeah.
stay away from them.
You go through the phase
Um,
where you lift as much weight as possible, and now you're like, okay, I'm in here to like for the long game. Like I'm gonna bring down the weight. I'm gonna do higher reps, and yeah,
yeah, I can take the pressure off my joints that way, right, and still get the muscles to be working as hard, if not harder, really,
hmm
in certain ways. So, and obviously nutrition. We've touched on nutrition, how that's kind of important, kind of tying into it. How was your relationship with food when you were kind of growing up, and how has it evolved through your life?
man, I ate terribly. I can think. I mean, this is no bad shot to my mom, but my mom, she dealt with severe depression my entire life. I can think of maybe like 10 times where we had home cooked meals. Like we ate terrible. We ate terrible growing up. So me, I've always just like even basic foods like chicken, rice, and broccoli. I love it. I'm like, oh man, I rarely had home cooked meals. We ate like refrigerated foods, like microwave foods, like fast food. That's all I ate growing up. So me, very simple foods are very satisfying to me. But for everyone, like our diet has to be focused on our proteins, fats, and carbs, which is our macros. That's the only way to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. And it's very simple. People like to always go the lazy route of just tracking calories. Tracking calories determines how much you weigh, but tracking macros determines what you look like. Like if you just drop your calories, you could be not getting not even nowhere near enough protein, and you're not going to look good at the end of your diet because you didn't put on the muscle to look toned and look nice and fit. You dropped weight, yeah, but it wasn't in the right areas, and you probably lost a lot of muscle.
Yeah, I think people have an emotional connection to food, right? So they have this kind of thing where they want food to always taste good, be good, and stuff like that. They really struggle with kind of the healthier foods, which tend to be a bit more bland, really, a lot of the time, especially if you're used to eating high fat, high sugar kind of foods. So, how would you kind of help people kind of find a balance of enjoying food and maintaining a nutritious diet?
What's about like it's even like that mindset too. Like you're on a diet right now, I'm on a diet right now. Like our food isn't the most flavorful, but you got to think about everything that's good in life is because you've seen the opposite bad. Like people that have really good life have probably had a bad life. Like and they just enjoy and appreciate these things so much more. When me and you are off of this diet and we're eating like everything that we really want, it's gonna taste so much better. It's gonna be more enjoyable. But if you always every day have the best foods that you want every single day, it starts to become the average. You know what I mean? And it just balances out to where now you're giving up what you want most for what you want now.
Yeah, it's having that big picture in your head, that long game, thinking about the result at the end of what you want, really, and either way, you're going to pay a price, right? So you're either going to eat shit now and then pay a price for it later on and be fat, overweight, and maybe get like a lot of diseases or whatever else, or you pay the price up front and then you get the benefits later on.
Yeah, and there's this guy. I mean, there's so many people on Instagram too. I'm just like straight to the point, like straight like savage mode. Sometimes like I don't care what I eat. You give me tuna and like piece of bread, like perfect macros for me. I got my carbs, I got my protein, whatever. But people that like genuinely like, okay, I'm willing to do the macros because I know it's gonna help me, but I also want tasty food. And look stuff up on Instagram. There's this dude. His name's like Tasty Shreds or something. I don't even know him personally, but he's got a big following. He shows like the craziest food. It looks like legit like 5-star meals that are like perfect macros. They taste super good, and it's like, I mean, there's people all over the world doing it at like good levels to where you can have both. You can have the macros on point and have tasty food. I just don't even like cooking personally, so I make it like straight to the point, and I'm on to the next. My message is like really directed towards men. I really direct it towards men, so I can talk straight to men. Like, bro, come on, you can't eat fucking chicken and rice for a couple weeks and get the body you want, so you can be a man that people respect and admire, and your girl wants to sleep with you more. It's like I go straight like that, and they're like, all right, fuck. I don't. I guess I don't have to have like the best tasting food every single day, and they just get straight to it. So my message is straight to men that want to be better men.
Yeah, that's fair, mate. Well, what's the biggest misconception that people have about like nutrition when it comes to achieving their fitness goals?
They think that they could just track calories, and calories is very lazy. Like I said, it breaks down like this. Calories is how much it determines how much you weigh. Macros determines how much you look, and micros determines how you feel. That's like getting super detailed into it. But you have if you are just tracking your calories, you're going to lose weight. Sure, you're going to lose weight, but you're not going to lose just fat. You're going to lose muscle. You're not going to have that tone, nice, attractive physique that you've been wanting. If you just track the two more numbers, protein, fats, and carbs, you are going to look the best you've ever looked in your life. You're going to feel amazing because you have all the right energy. It's going to completely change someone's life. People really don't focus on the food that they eat and don't understand the effects it has on the body and the mind.
Yeah, would you say that's kind of the key principles in nutrition then? Just kind of, as long as you're kind of hitting your calories first, then your protein, and then you can kind of split the other two, right? However kind of fits your day, depending on what you're doing, I suppose.
Yeah, you can split it depending on your goals, what your body looks like, how much you already weigh, and all this stuff. It's just not difficult. People make it seem difficult, and then like I take it to the next level where like I'll pull out my scale to like weigh my chicken because there's no other way for me to know how much my chicken weighs. I can't just look at it and know. But taking the extra 2 minutes just to weigh the chicken and then put my scale away saves me thousands of hours. Like there was a point I was going to the gym for 2 years. I literally from January 1st of this year to 2 years later, I looked exactly the same, and it was so frustrating. I literally didn't know why. I did not understand why. I thought I had my diet on point. I would do like the typical gym guy thing, like, oh, I'm gonna eat a little more chicken, a little more rice, bulking up, like I'm gonna get big. That shit didn't work out because I was just guessing. I had no idea how much I was intaking. You can't really know how much you're burning, but regardless, I was just guessing the whole time. Now I spend 3 minutes when I sit down, another 3 minutes. By the end of the day, I've spent 5-10 minutes tracking my food, and I'm guaranteeing that I'm getting the right nutrients from my body. It's changed my life.
Yeah, because if you don't track, you have no idea, and you can actually be well off without even realizing. Right, I've been there, and
Uh,
like you've got to track it, man, because it can be surprising sometimes.
yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
So, what's your kind of like? You said you don't really like to cook, and that I'm a big. I can't be bothered to cook half the time, especially if it's just for myself. So, what's your go-to meal that you go for?
I actually there was a girl I was with for a while, and it's like a Dominican, just a super generic Dominican food, but chicken, rice, and avocado. I mean, that is so good to me. I love it so much, and the way they just like mix all the sauce and everything make it good. But chicken, rice, and avocado, oh my, I love it so much. It's so good.
Yeah, good man. I'm terrible for just eating like protein bars after time and protein shakes and just
Uh,
not eating properly. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But what about kind of mentally then, that mental focus? What kind of role do you think nutrition plays in your kind of mindset and stuff?
I mean, it's just like it is just massively important, and once you start, like you realize you won't really realize how important it is. Like I could go tell anyone like, oh, is health important? The what you eat important? Yeah, it's important, but they don't really know until they've done it. Like when you actually change out all that fast food, all that greasy fat food for like vegetables and fruits, like you are going to feel so much better. You're not going to be tired throughout the day. You're not going to have like this weird fog and just like slow thinking. Like it's going to change everything. So people have to just stick with it long enough, get that bad self-talk out about the diet, and just stick through to like actually get the results. They will never go back to eating the way they were.
Yeah, because it does matter as well, right? Because I whenever I eat crap food, if I sit there and eat like a big bag of M&Ms or some shit, and it just makes me feel a bit crappy, like a bit fuzzy headed and a bit like almost like a bit hungover the next day and lethargic and lazy and stuff.
Yeah, like the effects just drag on to the next day, a couple of days later, and it just that's what brings down people's self talk. That's what makes people have negative self talk, is because they've done negative actions, and you can't really lie to yourself.
Yeah, man. And so for people who kind of travel, so you've done a bit of traveling in your life and stuff, and been overseas, different countries and continents and stuff. How is it change it? How can people get better if they're traveling? Because obviously there might be different diets and different cultures, different places. How do they kind of manage that?
Yeah, I've been to 19 countries so far. I've done a lot of traveling. I've been around a little bit, around Asia, around Europe. But what I recommend for people, especially if you're going like a long trip or a long vacation, like just stick at your maintenance calories. Your maintenance calories and macros. You don't have to worry about going on like a crazy bulk and like focusing on your food when you're trying to enjoy time with family, and you don't want to really be on a crazy cut. At a certain point, if you are like really overweight, okay, you've got to stick to this plan. Like thug it out for these next 3 to 6 months, a year, or whatever. Like suffer through these little vacations and stuff because it's going to change the next 70 years of your life. But for most people that are already in shape, like I recommend people stick to their maintenance. That way it's not too harsh on your mindset and everything. You get to enjoy time with your family. But yeah, you plan ahead. You already know what your macros are, and you just hit those maintenance numbers every day.
Yeah, man. But once you get to the weight you want to be at, anyway, the maintenance is relatively easy, right? You got on top of that because you know if you as long as you're still tracking as well, it kind of keeps you on point. But if you kind of your weight creeps up a little bit, you just readjust, and when you're just talking about small adjustments, it's much easier than the big jump that usually people go for on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hardest lesson you've had to learn then about balancing nutrition, mindset, and training?
The hardest lesson would be the way that I talk to myself. The first time I ever cut weight was a while ago, and I did just the most basic thing. I just was talking like literally every single day. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry." I'm saying it out loud. I'm complaining all the time, talking to myself that way. I was talking to my girl that way, and it's like now I'm convincing her that it's like, "Oh, this is probably a bad thing. Like, babe, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe just eat a little more. Then, like, you don't feel good." Now I'm convincing her to get me off track. Like, that's the worst thing to do. That's the worst thing to do. You've convinced yourself that it's bad, and now you're convincing your girl, your family, your friends that it's a bad thing. So change your mindset. Realize that hunger is a feeling of fat being burned. You're gonna be on point a lot more. When you tell yourself that it's a good thing because it is a good thing, and you're telling your friends and your family it's a good thing, you're just reinforcing the positivity into the thing that you're doing, and it's gonna keep you on track.
Yeah, man. How do you kind of define fulfillment then when it comes to training and nutrition?
Fulfillment. So I mean, people really validate themselves a lot based off external things, like their job, their car, their girl, like their possessions and all this stuff. But the best way to find fulfillment is based off your daily habits and your mindset, the way that you talk to yourself and what you do every single day. And if everything that you're doing every single day is like eating healthy, training to feel better, reading, like you're going to be pretty fulfilled in the things that are in your control. So I get a lot of fulfillment based off what I do every day and how I talk to myself.
Yeah, man. And what was success then? How does that success look to you? What is success to you, and has that evolved over time?
Oh yeah, it's evolved over time. What I used to question a lot growing up is because I never had an example of what it was to be a man. I would ask men like, "What does it mean to be a man?" They'd be like, "A man is someone that takes care of his kids and all this stuff." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. Like, you're describing a father." I'm like, "You don't need to be a man to be a father. You don't need to be a father to be a man. Like those don't just automatically correlate." And then I realized that pretty much the basis of what it means to be a man is someone that's able to protect and provide for himself and his family. And to me, success is just being a man. Like literally, I did not have that at all in my life. If all men worked on being better men, they were able to protect and provide. Obviously, that's like the foundation. Everything else is like, okay, well, what do I need to be able to protect and provide? I got to be strong. I got to be smart. I got to go through difficult things so that way I can provide. And that is success for me. Being a man that is able to protect and provide and keeps his word to himself and his people.
Yeah, I like that. And I read a quote recently, actually, that's kind of along them lines. So it was success isn't found in achieving a goal, it's in the mindset you build along the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about that, that mental attitude that you bring into the table. It's about, how you're looking after people, how you can support people by having the right mindset and the right attitude towards life and towards ultimately the challenges that life throw at us, because they will keep throwing challenges at us. They never go away. Life will always be up and down. There'll always be difficult times and good times, and you've got to try and keep that balance throughout.
Yeah, just for men, when men talk about their problems or tell me their problems, I'm just like, good. Like, good. Like, you are in the growth winning season right now. You get to prove to yourself, are you going to stick to your word or are you not going to stick to your word? Is this too much for you? Is it like this is the season? Like, for me right now, I got life is happening for me right now. It is not going the way that I really desire, the way that I want. And I'm just like, this is that season. I'm in that season. And most people just they go straight to the negative. They wonder if they're doing something wrong. They just start questioning. No, stick to the plan. You know what it means to be a good man. You know what you need to do. Keep your diet on point, read every day, eat healthy, and just push through and live every single day. You're going to be just fine. You're going to come out better than when you started. Like, some people try to just barely survive a situation. I'm trying to thrive through it. And it's just by having that daily process every day.
Yeah, I like that. Well, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be this 5-step process that I learned from my mentor. It'd be to wake up early. It would be to drop all the vices. A vice is anything that makes you feel good in the moment, but you regret later. That could be like flashing out with anger. That could be smoking weed. That could be drinking. That could be watching porn, jacking off every day. So drop the vices. Number 1, wake up early. Number 2, drop the vices. 3, read every day. 4, work out. And then 5 is to track your macros. If you do those 5 things, you are set up for a life that is very fulfilling, and you're going to have a positive influence over everyone around you.
Yeah, so it's that discipline that you approach life with, right?
Yeah.
That discipline, having a disciplined mind, and it gives you a disciplined life, and you have more control over how you live. You'll be happier, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that 5-step process is just that makes someone just a rare individual. It makes you someone that you respect, and when you respect yourself, you're gonna have a lot of other people respect you as well. Life is just gonna be very good. Like, an analogy I always use, like the vices, that is so big. People do things all the time that is holding them back. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're watching porn all the time. They're just doing all these things that hold them back. And then they talk good about all those things. Like, it's just a couple drinks a week. Like, bro, no, it's not just a couple drinks a week. You're drinking every week. Like, you're wording it to where it sounds nice, but you're drinking every single week. And those are back steps. Like, especially if you're trying to lose weight. When you drink alcohol, your body stops burning fat momentarily until it gets rid of all the alcohol. Like, your body starts to break down the alcohol, has to get rid of this toxin, and then it can start to break down fat. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're drinking, a massive back step. Like, some people picture a week, 7 days. Like, some people are taking 5 steps forward, and then on the weekend they get super drunk, 2 big ass steps backwards. 5 little steps forward, 2 big steps backwards. Every single day, I'm just taking a regular step forward, just walking forward every single day, 365 steps a year. And then most people are getting 200 steps. And then he's taking all these big old back steps. Like, they're just holding themselves back. People just really don't realize it. I use all these like simple analogies so people can understand. It's like, imagine if someone was trying to run down the street, but there's someone holding on to them. Like, why would you try to figure out how to run faster? Like, oh, I'm just going to push harder, push harder. Like, no, turn around, take that dude off your back, and then start going forward. It just makes the most sense instead of trying to run with someone holding on to you, which is devices, everything holding you back.
We live in a society of that, though, don't we? That instant gratification that people just want, that instant feeling, like, without, nobody wants to put in the work for the better feeling down the road when they can just have this shitty little stopgap feeling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how we fix that. That's kind of, it's down to the individual, right? They need to want to, because I always say, like, stuff like that, like, it's like giving up smoking, right? If you're a smoker, there's patches, there's like vapes, there's loads of different ways you can get off cigarettes and stop smoking, but you gotta want to.
Gotta want to.
Yeah, if you don't want to, man, you'll never do it, right? And
Yeah.
and again, it comes back to what you've said throughout and from the start, is finding that why. If you have a reason why, then you're much more likely to do it than if you're just doing it just because you think you should.
Yeah.
So, what's something that you're still working on then, either personally or professionally, that that you're still working on, that you think is still a work in progress for you?
Working on myself. I just work every single day on my daily process. Every single day, I just get up, I read, I work out, and it's not too difficult now. Like, it really is not that difficult. Like I said earlier, it gets to a point where it's harder to stop than it is to keep going. Just sticking to my word. things are getting tough right now. This is like a season where I'm like, I don't feel like working out. If I skipped working out, it wouldn't make a difference. So to me, it's just keeping my word regardless of how I feel.
Yeah, keeping your word to yourself, right? Because if you lie to yourself, then that's when you start having doubts, and your confidence goes down, and shit goes south, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Where's the best place for people to find you if they want to get hold of you or they want to learn more about you, Isaiah?
Best place is definitely on Instagram. It's my first and last name, Izaiah Dillion. It's spelled Izaiah. That's Isaiah, and then Dillion, Dillion.
No worries. I'll make sure I pop a link in the show notes and stuff as well for people, so it's easy for them to get hold of you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm going to bring this kind of episode to a close. Is there any final thoughts that you want to leave us with, or final messages that you want to give to us?
Final message would be, you got to understand that life is so much more serious than we kind of take it to be. Like, there are so many people that need each and every one of us, that just need us, like, that look up to us that we wouldn't even realize, people at our jobs, people in our family. And if you can wake up, create the best version of yourself in the morning, and then give yourself away to everyone else, you'd have a massive positive impact over everybody that looks up to you and needs you.
Love that. Some great advice. Isaiah, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us.
I absolutely appreciate you, Aaron.
No worries. Take care, my friend.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of They Not Like Us. If your brain isn't buzzing with new ideas, or you're not feeling just a little bit more rebellious, you might want to hit replay and listen again. Seriously though, massive thanks for tuning in. If you loved what you heard, or even if you just mildly enjoyed it, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. It's basically like giving your future self a high five. You're welcome. Oh, and if you really want to win some extra karma points, leave us a review. 5 stars only though, because let's be honest, anything less would just be rude. And hey, if you've got a mate who needs some life-changing content or could just use a laugh, send them this episode. Sharing is caring, right? Alright, that's it from me. Until next time, stay awesome, stay curious, and remember, being normal is overrated. Catch you later.